We'll know exactly what the cost, but we anticipate that the funds that we have will be sufficient to make those renovations that are much needed and that we need in order to relocate the EMS unit that's at the Hemingway Outpatient Center, as I said. The other aspect of this project is the Chavis Recreation facility at the Chavis One Stop Annex facility, and we are going to present the details of that project at this time. We've been working very closely. Our county recreation director, Mr. Andre Dorsey, and Ms. Carlita Neesmith have been working on this. And again, this is not a project that just started last week. It's been in the works for several years now, and it was in conjunction with some major improvements that were done at the One Stop, repairing the roof that was desperately needed there at our satellite office, or annex office in Hemingway at the Chavis One Stop. So at this time, I'm going to ask Mr. Dorsey and Ms. Neesmith, however the presentation is going to be presented at this time.
Hello. How's everyone doing tonight? Good, good. I had to get y'all some laughter in the room. Loosen up a little bit for this presentation. I just want to say good afternoon to County Council and Supervisor. Thank you guys for having me today. Thank each and every one of you guys for coming. Today we're going to talk about the Chavis One Stop Complex and Recreation Center. And we got a neat little gadget here. So as we get started, one of the things that we were doing our research on, we kind of found that, you know, with recreation being here in the county and the headquarters being in Williamsburg County, but also here in Kingstree, we have a satellite office that is down in Hemingway. We wanted to be able to focus on getting those folks in Hemingway an opportunity to share some of the things that we have here at the Kingstree Recreation Department. And so what we came up with was because as of right now, I should say that the current complex there in Hemingway, the Chavis One Stop building, only has a gymnasium, picnic shed, and some outdated playground equipment. And if anybody knows, this can be kind of dangerous. The complex and recreation center that we propose to actually have created and constructed will be a multi-purpose football field and soccer field. It's an all-in-one field that will allow the recreation department that when we go down and have football games for our youth, that we can actually use our own facility instead of using the high school. If we're talking about saving money, we actually have to pay high school their custodian in order for us to be able to use and utilize their fields. So what we wanted to do is kind of scale back on some costs, and this is one way we can definitely do it. One of the things that I noticed from in the Hemingway area is the fact that there's a lot of folks that are craving health and wellness in the community. And one of the things that we wanted to target is our elderly. We have vital aging that is housed in the Chavis complex building, and they're consistently walking the hallways. I think that to get out and be able to walk the track gives them an opportunity to have more mobility, to move around, as well as an open atmosphere to get themselves very much involved in outdoor activities, as well as the playground area, which we also have for the children in the community as well. One of the things that we wanted to focus on with the new playground equipment was we wanted to bring families together, having family outings, children birthday parties, baby showers, or just for youth in the community to be able to utilize that. The multi-purpose building that we have, and you guys will see all this, the multi-purpose building that we have gives us an opportunity to do rentals. That way it helps us to offset any costs that may occur, as well as a zero-entry splash pad for the youth in the area. And of course, that gives family fun. It allows kids to have birthday parties, and also the school and other civic groups, churches can actually rent it out for private events as well. This right here is the construction of the actual concession building that I'm talking about. What we decided to do, instead of running into any issues with DHEC, is that we decided to bid out an opportunity for food trucks and allow them to deal with the DHEC situation, which we can keep ourselves out of it, which provide food and also other amenities there. Now, the concession will also have male and female restrooms, but also family restrooms as well, and lockers so the kids and adults can change in if they need to change in as well. As you see, this is the actual zero entry pool. Now, the zero entry pool, like I said, is actually a splash pad, but it shoots water up. The water is recycled. So with this is a great thing to have because it allows us to stay out of liability issues when it comes down to swimming pools. At this particular point in time, it allows us to have pool managers, clerks, someone to be in there to actually operate the facility. But more than likely, you have parents that will be able to be there with their children. But we will also have benches, patios, and you can use this as an opportunity to have cookouts, again, birthday parties, baby showers, etc. This is the total landscape of what will be at the Chavis One Stop and Rec Center. As you see in the green, that shows you the multi-purpose field. Coming back, I know it's a small space, a little small circle, if you guys can pay attention, would be to the left of you. That is the playground, and the track will go entirely around the whole area. That's from a different view of it. All right, now at this point, with this, the focus or the vision, I should say, will be to actually grow the facility as much as we can. And what we want to do is have it in a safe spot for us to be able to add on as years go by. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dorsey. At this time, you've seen the schematics and the plans for the Chavis facility. I would now open up the hearing, public hearing now for any questions from the public or members of council.
Any questions?
I have a question. As far as the facilities that's being proposed as regarding the splash pool?
Splash pad.
Okay. Is there any facility in our surrounding areas resembling that you're aware of?
Lynch's River, is probably the closest up right now.
And then Santee.
Santee, of course, but that's further out. You're saying surrounding areas.
Well, I mean, the next county over or something.
Right.
Yeah.
It would be Lynch's River, and at this point, I think that's it. I don't know of any other.
How many persons or kids can be accommodated at one time?
For the size of it, I would say about 150.
Okay. So I'm familiar with the layout there now. That field that's behind the building,
Yes, sir.
is this venture going to pretty much take care of most of that property, or a third
Yes.
of it, or both of it, or how, what?
Most of the property.
Most of it be taken care
But that do include the walking trail and all the
Absolutely.
other stuff.
Yeah. It includes all the last schematics that you saw with the walking trail and everything. That's all included.
of. Okay, my final question on that would be, based on the amount of the bond, the $600,000. As I'm understanding, $300,000 is going to take care of this, and I'm missing something there.
What the total cost of the 600,000, 300,000 of that is for the Stuckey Fire Station.
Right.
And then 300,000 is an additional funds. As you may remember when I said we had a project that we started, and you probably remember, you all from the Hemingway area, when we replaced the roof. That was a part. This project was supposed to be included in that phase of the operation, but the cost came in way over what was projected. The cost to replace that roof, we were estimating it like about 500,000. It ended up coming in about 900,000. So that pushed the cost overruns. So now with the remaining money, I think we had approximately about 800,000. And when we add this 300,000, that what you saw today is approximately about 1.1 million, $1.2 million to do that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but some of that funding also came from USDA?
Yes, that the funding, a good portion of it came from USDA and then some other grant funds that we were able to identify for it. But it's a combination of low interest loans and grant funds. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I'm broadcasting live on Facebook, and there are some questions. One is, why are we not using Battery Park for this?
Because as Mr. Dorsey indicated, the Chavis One Stop is the annex for Williamsburg County government. And in looking at, I guess, taking advantage or trying to utilize resources as best we possibly can, because we had the existing annex there where citizens are allowed to pay taxes. We have a full-scale recreation program there. It seemed to be the appropriate location to expand our county services from our county satellite office.
And to add to that, the expense, the funding, it would take more funding. Be a little bit more prepared in the Chavis One Stop area.
And additionally to that, we have already located there, besides for the county's operation, we have a early Head Start program through Waccamaw EOC, and then the Senior Citizens Vital Aging program is also there. So we're kind of integrating and creating a continuity of services from that location.
So then it's going to cost about $1.2 million to erect. How much is it for the upkeep, and how do we plan, where do we plan to get the funding to maintain it?
Well, based upon the calculations, this phase of construction and operation will have zero impact on our existing budget.
We don't need a lot.
We won't have to add anything. The staffing that we have currently and the operations there won't be affected. The budget, our current budget, won't be affected by this expansion. Mr. Gilliard.
I have a question. How long will it take to complete the work? If it passed, how many would it take, years or what?
No, we're looking at probably being able to go back and rebid. When this project was bid initially, the projected cost was somewhere around $500,000-600,000, and the bids that came in for this was over $1 million, and so that's what has delayed it. We feel that that once we get the bids, get it out for bids, we're probably looking at 6 to 9 months of construction is what we've been told it would take from the time that we actually let the bids and give the notices to proceed.
Another question. They gonna vote on this tonight, or y'all gonna vote on it tonight?
Yes. Yes, it's on the agenda for the third reading and final vote.
know, Mr. Supervisor, there was a message that we were not going to vote on it, and this is street talk. And we were going to vote on this thing tonight. Y'all can rest assured that we're going to vote on it. And there was also a message that the street people were saying that we need the whole thing. We are giving you the whole thing, with the exception of the swimming pool at this moment. They're not going to do that. And that was the problem. They got that mixed up. Just wanted to throw it out.
Thank you very much, Councilman. Ms. Ham.
And I understand with, you're saying there's not going to be any funding allocated out of our current budget to pay for the upkeep as far as with regards to staff. But what about utilities and maintenance? Where's that funding going to come from?
Again, the existing budget, we believe, because there are going to be minimal costs associated with it, we believe that in this current budget that we're working on, that we can absorb those costs within the existing budget. As we go along and we get, because of the construction period, we feel that it's probably going to be well into this fiscal year before we will start experiencing any expenses. So again, we can absorb the costs associated with this project in the current budget and even the budget that we're going to be proposing for 2018-2019. But certainly in this current budget, no impact, and again, as I said, minimal impact for even the 2018-2019 budget.
And to add to what Mr. Casey said, we hope that our community would use this facility, that you don't have to go to Myrtle Beach and Surf, other places, that you can do some of the activity here in the county.
Are the activities going to be free?
The building won't be free. I mean,
Mr. George, you want to address that phase as far as the cost? What we're looking at, just as in most water parks, that there will be a nominal admission to enter the facility.
Yeah, and this also will be based upon, you know, we understand that there's hardship in the county. So that was taken into accountabilities with most of the water parks and stuff that we've actually went and talked to. They have been very reasonable. I mean, prices ranging from $6, but that won't be us. I'm just saying that those areas with more people. So it'd be significantly lower. So it would be affordable and well worth it. And no matter where you go, you have to pay. If you're going to go to Nature's River, that's another county that you're paying for. At least keep the money recycled into Williamsburg County.
your trips can be at the Shavers One Stop.
And because of the outside activities and the shed, the picnic sheds and whatnot, you can have kids that come there and actually have picnics there. Schools can bring them there and have, you know, day outs, summer schools, etc. You can utilize it.
So if I'm looking at it correctly, right, the pool is outside?
No, it's splash pad.
So splash pad. So explain the splash pad. I'm ignorant to that. I'm sorry.
All right. Splash pad generally is pretty much, you can shape it any way you want. If you want to shape it like a swimming pool, that's fine. But what it is, it has no depth. So that means that you can take an infant and walk into the water, or someone that's 2, 3, 4 years old, if you're a parent, you can walk into the water. All it is water shooting out of the ground. They have different amenities that's inside, little toys, frogs, trees, that if you pull a string, bucket of water come down. So it's pretty much a high-end sprinkling system.
So only to be utilized during the summer months?
Yeah.
So I guess framing my question is why this particular type of structure instead of some type of indoor recreational structure that we can utilize all year round?
Well, one of the reasons is when you start talking about indoor facilities, you're talking about enormous costs in maintenance and operation, and the limitations in our ability to be able to maintain. Well, first of all, the expense to construct, and then the maintenance and operation is extremely significant in the overall ability to do those kind of things. It's a huge cost to do it. I think it would be cost prohibitive.
You also have football and soccer field.
Yes.
That goes into winter sports, right?
Absolutely.
And you'll have a concession stand
Yes.
open during those periods as well?
Yes.
there's a question, will it be special needs accessible?
Yes, absolutely. That is certainly has to be ADA compliant, without question. Mr. Brown.
Just going back to the building with the roof and the bid that was received and compared to what the actual cost was. Are we not going to run into the same situation on this as you did with the roof, are you?
No, I think we believe that what phase one, there's sufficient funding to construct and complete the phase one portion. We should have sufficient funds based upon what the last projections or the last bids that we had. I believe that we should be able to cover those costs.
So, okay, with that said now, what was it that caused the bid, the actual cost of the roof to be so much higher than the actual bid that was submitted?
The problem was, and again, sometimes when you're dealing with the funding sources, when the estimates were done, we were in a recession. We were still in that recessionary period, and the costs that we were getting, the estimates were low. By the time the actual bid process began, the economy started coming back, and a lot of those contractors and those roofers were busy. And then the other thing that really jacked it up was we had the ice storm and those disasters, and then there was so much work that was needed, and then the contractors just had more work than they can do, and so whenever you have a market like that, then the prices go up. So that's what really jacked up the cost, the actual cost from what was originally projected. Time, and then the disasters that we had, and which required a lot of roofing work to be done, and particularly on schools. A lot of schools were impacted, and so we were competing with those other type projects. But very good question. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Hearing none. Are there any other questions? Are there any other questions going twice? Are there any other questions going 3 times? Hearing none, I now declare this public hearing officially closed. At this time, we will call our regular council meeting to order, and I'll ask Vice Chairman Councilman McKnight if he would to lead us in prayer.
Let us pray.